switching also. Some people will say, oh, you're trying to act white, you're trying to be white. No, we have to be accepted and considered as professional in environments in which we were not supposed to be. Therefore, in order to do this, we had to learn how to speak in a manner in which those people could understand us, respect us, and hear what we had to say. So yes, we do code switch. Matter of fact, when I do these videos, you are hearing my voice in a code switch mode. You don't even hear me speak in my way, the way I can in a Negro dialect in which all my people can speak once we're with each other. Most people don't even know we speak like that. Most of us don't even realize we do until we're around other people. Let my husband hear me talk to other people like family or other black folks. He don't even know what's going on. He's completely confused. To him, it's like we're speaking a whole different language. And I notice with some of the white folks, it's the same way. It's very strange. But it's also important for those of you who are not in the U.S., who don't live in America, who don't understand that we also have cultures within cultures. You won't understand that not all Americans are homogenous, not all Americans are the same, and America is so big. When they say see the shining sea, they're also talking about the mountains that have the snow-capped mountains that have skiing, the weather, some of the places that are so cold you damn near never see the sun, some of the places that have straight desert, there's no water, they have to pump water in from other states, to places that have all 4 seasons, the places that only have 2 seasons, hot and hotter, which is basically down there in the deep south. We have every single terrain you can think of. We have oceans, we have lakes, we have gullies, we have Great Lakes. We have so much here, we don't have to leave if we don't want to. I personally want to leave because you need to go out of your comfort zone to see the rest of the world, because the world is beautiful, but so is the United States. It is a massive country, and it is extremely aligned in a way that other countries were not for the longest time. Now the European Union, I shouldn't even say now, the past 20 years or so, the European Union has operated very similarly to the US. Democracy. Each country is sovereign. Shared currency. Shared larger economy, yet each country has its own economy. Mind you, the US has a US economy. Each state has its own individual economy. California, if it ever decided to secede from the Union, which means it decides to leave the United States to become its own country, or even Texas, they have so much money from the businesses they do, they could do seriously damage to the United States of America without these states part of them. Just like if the European Union, if France and Germany pulled out, the European Union would die. Like, you need these strong economies to be part of these organizations. Africa has the African Union, but there's no unity in the African Union. It sounds nice, it looks nice, it's cute, it's sweet, and it makes the white people feel good. You have ECOWAS, you have the East African states, you have the North African Federation or whatever. You have the Central African thing, you have some kind of Southern African thing. All these things are created, maintained, and led by white people from Europe and America. And they'll give you some titles and make it seem like you're leading it, but you're not. ECOWAS has never been led truly by Africans. It has always in the background, all the money, and that's all that matters. Follow the money. Where's the money come? The money's coming straight out of Europe and America, UK, these countries, Australia. They're getting their money from these places. So I'm saying this because if Africa, which you can fit, the U.S. can fit inside of the continent of Africa 3 times, I believe, 2 or 3 times the U.S., right? But there is not one single country in Africa bigger than the United States of America. And I'm not talking about population. You want to say, oh, Nigeria is bigger by population, not by GDP. There's no country bigger than us in Africa that can compare to America in any stance when it comes to actual economics, right? And that should not be the case because Africa is disjointed. It's not united. The governments are never united. The governments are always either fighting each other or they're trading around each other, going up into Europe, going through China, going through the US, trading that way instead of trading amongst themselves. And of course they say, oh yeah, there's the African Union now, there's the African Development Bank, and we're doing this and we're doing that. You're not doing shit because there's no actual proof. that any of these things are actually happening. An African, born and bred African, Ghanaian, can't even cross the border into Nigeria without getting shit. Can't even cross the border into Ethiopia or into one of the Congo. You name a country. They're going to give you a hard time crossing the border as an African into these other countries. Even ECOWAS states will give other ECOWAS members problems traveling. And I do know that. So why is that? There is a problem here and a disconnect. I say this because when people are coming in from all these other countries to develop Africa, they're developing singular African nations. And these African nations are not working together in unison the way the European Union will work together in unison to be one voice, the way the United States will work together to be one voice. I'm talking about all 50 states working together to be one voice to represent the United States of America. Africa does not have any unity to represent itself as a united front to trade, to have economic power, to have economic access. You can tell me they do. Please prove me wrong. I would like to see it, because nothing matters if you cannot follow the money back. Well, if you follow that money back and it does not lead to a black man, then you do not have control. So, now, with that being said, I talked about the American perception and perspective. I wanted you guys to really understand how big we are and why so many people have these misconceptions of Americans. There are a lot of Americans who do not travel because there's no need for them to travel if they don't want to. But there are a lot of Americans who are just woefully ignorant and enjoy that. They enjoy being fucking stupid and not traveling to other places, never leaving their state, only traveling within their state. And that's really sad. There are a lot of Americans who don't have passports, but there is a lot of us, a shit ton, if I don't mind if I say, you know what I mean? I forgot how to say that term, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a ton of us with passports. Every country I've ever traveled to across the world, across the 4 continents I've been to, and I've only been to 4, I still have other continents to get to. I've always been another American. Now, granted, that American almost always is white, but sometimes I might meet a Native American, which is always a shock. I might meet a Latino. I always meet a Latino. I always meet a Mexican American. Always, wherever I travel. Them, Jamaicans, and Nigerians, always. So, we're here, we're around. That American perception is important. You need to understand it. So I hope somebody learned a little something from that today, because, I went in. But I'm going to have to talk to and get into these little fake ass agents, and also talk about how to really navigate your desire to move abroad, and how I made many videos on how I did it, but I just see all these things out on YouTube, and I just hope you guys make wise decisions when you're trying to move, and don't just leap and do something that you're going to regret later. There's a lot of opportunity outside of the US, and a lot of companies abroad are hiring Americans with certain skill sets. Certain skill sets are in high demand. Do some research, find out, and go and see if you have the qualifications. And in some places, I'm here in Germany. I don't speak any German. I'm trying to learn German. Deutschland is hard. Deutsch is hard. Okay, my Deutsch is this. Nein spreche Deutsch, which means I don't speak German. But business, the company I work for, the business I do, the fully German company I work for, the language of doing business for the type of business I do in technology is in English. If you didn't know, you need to find out today, because this is not the only country that does that. So there might be opportunities for you out there. You need to just go and look, but don't try to look and find opportunities in Africa. There are no jobs. You have to make your own job, but there are jobs in Asia and Europe and other places. So you just need to get out there and find something. Yeah.